we're here with an album review. This time, new album from the band Havok, titled Conformicide. This came out March 10th. This is their fourth album, I believe. Follow-up to 2013's Unnatural Selection. It's been a long time since these guys put out a full-length album. They've been touring a lot and stuff, so here they are with a new album. We reviewed their first single that came out, Hang 'Em High, a while ago. But now the whole thing's here. Havok's a thrash band. You didn't know that. They're very political.
Yeah, very much. I feel I'm gonna get that right off the bat. Well, I'll say two things right off the bat, which is that listening to, let me just so I can see the actual track listing. Probably the first couple, the first half of the album, I almost at first listen, because the first listen has a your first impression has a lot of impact on your future opinion. I almost didn't make it through. I'm like, it just didn't. And then I got to Master Plan, which I really like as a song, and then everything else kind of went a lot better after that. But that's one thing about this album. It's like all the political stuff that's in it, and it's just like, I get it. You know, the government's corrupt and religion's corrupt and all that stuff, but it's like, either hide it behind more allegory, or maybe do something else with some songs, because it seems like every song is about that. But back to actually talk about the album. It's an okay album in my opinion. I think the back half of the album is much better. Like, again, I said Master Plan. I like that song. It's probably my favorite song on the album. Claiming Certainty is another good. I like the main riff of Wake Up. That riff's weird, but it's cool. And then Circling the Drains, a good one. And then Hang 'Em High and the others, I guess they think they put out as a single, Intention to Deceive, are good songs. But in all honesty, like, the rest of the songs, they just don't grab me. F.P.C, which I immediately assume stands for Fuck Political Correctness. I don't know, the intro's weird, and that song's just weird. And same thing, kind of like Dog Maniacal is just like a weird song, and Ingsoc and Pieces in Pieces. They're just like either weird or they just don't grab me as songs. Kind of like Hang 'Em High or Master Plan or Wake Up. Like, there's a lot of good riffs on this album. That's part of the reason why I love Master Plan. The middle section riff in Master Plan is awesome. The main riff to Wake Up is another awesome riff. I really like the chorus to Intention to Deceive. That's a cool chorus. And I hear two things when I listen to this album. I hear Megadeth a little bit, which makes it extra kind of funny that they got kicked off that Megadeth tour last year. And then a little bit, especially in Circling the Drain, I hear, in another parts, I hear Death Angel, at least in the vocals. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, and maybe I just never realized it before, because maybe it's always been there, but I'm just like, wow, that's, especially probably from listening to both those bands really recently for another video that we've done, like, it was like, wow, that sounds a lot like that. But one thing I'll say that's almost consistent throughout the whole album is I really like the solos on just about the whole album, and I thought the drums are really good. They're a little weird, and maybe they don't fit with like the whole theme when they get all extra. It's not prog, but you kind of get what I'm saying with that. It's just like these extra weird beats, and then the bass player for this band. I'll have to look up the name here in a second, but he's really good. There's a couple of times where I'm just like again in F.P.C, where it's just like it's a little like you're going and it's really weird, and I'm like, I don't know if it works, but I mean, he's talented. I can't deny that. This is an album that, weirdly enough, it's usually the first half of the album that's really good. It's the back half of the album that I think is much better. Like, from like Master Plan on, with like the exception of Piece in Pieces, which is a meh song. Like, I think the back half of the album is much better than the first half. It's like, yeah, it's a fine album. I don't think it'll be anywhere near my top 10 or how many ever albums, but I do enjoy it. it's fine. Personally,
yeah, I like this album too, but I don't love it. Like, it's fine. When I'm listening to it and I'm fucking in it, I'm like, this is pretty alright. There's some solid riffs on here. I mean, Hang 'em High. I get the main riff to Intention to Deceive and stuck in my head all the time. I mean, that's an amazing riff. The chorus riff, the Ingsock or whatever, is great. Master Plan. The middle section of Claiming Certainty is phenomenal. When everything slows down and stuff, it's great. There's some solid riffs, like he said, great solos all over the place, but it's not bad, and that's the weird part, but I just find myself kind of zoning out a little bit sometimes when I listen to this album. It's like I've literally listened to this album 4 times in the past 2 days, you know, and every time I just end up zoning out a little bit, and it's like, and I don't know really what it is. It might be, it just probably has to just come down to the songwriting or something. It's like, there's some really catchy riffs and catchy vocals and stuff, but maybe it all just doesn't come together for me personally. And I enjoy the vocals. I think David Sanchez sounds great. I mean, sometimes just absolutely ear-shattering. His screams are just crazy. It's like, dude, like, how do you not blow your voice out? It's just crazy, especially in like F.P.C. or Hang 'em High. Those are 2 really standout tracks, I think, vocally. And there is some catchiness to some of the vocals. It's just, I just feel as a whole, it just loses me sometimes, and that kind of stinks. And honestly, I felt the same way about their last album, Unnatural Selection. It's just something about it just would lose me sometimes, but there's some solid riffs and solid songs on there. Their album Time Is Up, I think, is a fucking thrash classic. That album is amazing from beginning to end. And it was so vicious. And I think another thing that just loses me a little bit is this album sounds fine production-wise. It's very clean. It just feels like it has a nice sparkle to it and stuff. But it's like, Time Is Up was so fucking heavy and just in your fucking face. And I don't know, I just feel like there's maybe a little bit something missing there on the production end. It's just a little bit too nice, in a way. In a strange way. I just love Time Is Up. Songs like Prepare to Attack or DOA or the title track or whatever. It's like, damn. You know, those tracks were just insane. They were so thrashy. They were so in your face, so violent. And here, you know, it's just a little bit more clean, mature, and all that stuff. And that's fine. But I don't know. I think that's another thing that loses me a little bit. Yeah, it's not bad. There's some solid songs on here. You can thrash the fuck out with some of these, but I just feel Havok has done better. You know? And I feel when it comes to, like, just thrash albums in general, there's kind of better stuff that has come out recently that you can jam.
Yeah, I didn't make that point, and you made it there. Vocally, I do like this album. It's not, to me, when I talked about the thing about the vocals and the singing, it's not the actual singing itself. I think David Sanchez sounds fine. It's just the fact that it just seems like it's a one-trick pony in terms lyrically. Yeah. Which I never noticed it on, like, if it's like that on Time Is Up, I don't notice it. Mm-hmm. Because it's just like the songwriting is at least, like, again, it's not so on the nose with, like, Dog Maniacal is all about how God wants you to kill your neighbor and stuff like that. And it's like, okay, that's really on the nose. Like, there's no, like, oh yeah, I'm saying this, but I mean this. It's like, no, this is what I'm saying. And it's like,
yeah. And this album's very political, and that's fine. You know, Megadeth albums are very political a lot of times. And people should talk about politics and talk about what they believe and all this stuff. That's fine. I just, like you, I just feel, I don't know, spice it up.
spice it up. Like
To me personally.
two or three songs. Oh yeah, go for it. That's fine. But like the whole album, you kind of lose me a little bit because it's like, okay, now you're preaching at this point, and once you start preaching to me, kind of like what you were kind of saying, I start to zone out because it's like you're saying the same kind of stuff over and over again.
Yeah.
But whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. You might feel different about that personally, but that's just me. Score?
I'll give it a 7. I'll give it like a solid 7. I think it's an okay album.
I agree. 7 out of 10. Havok, Conformicide. Check it out. Check us out. Subscribe. Like. Titties.
And beer.
You know what's good? A hot dog and a beer on opening day at Wrigley Field.